take too long. This is only 3 marks.
Done.
Now read the answer.
Done.
From 0 to 2 minutes, the pulse rate is more or less 40 beats per minute. As the race starts at 2 minutes, there is a rapid increase of pulse rate from 40 to 168 beats per minute. From 3 minutes to 13 minutes, the pulse rate fluctuates at a constant pulse rate. For the last 5 minutes, the pulse rate.
Stop. Okay, do you see it fluctuates or not? Fluctuates macam zigzag macam tu tau.
No.
It's more or less constant.
Okay, more or less constant.
More or less constant for how many minutes? It remains constantly
10. From 3 to 13.
Right, and then
For
after
10
that,
minutes.
at the end of the race,
The pulse rate starts to decrease rapidly.
At the end of the race, pulse decreases rapid.
yeah, but what about your final one? Start to decrease rapidly from
From 168 to
15.
what is that fun? 60 beats per minute.
relatively higher than the beginning of the race. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you get 3 marks here? First, you mentioned at the start of the race, there's a sharp
Increase.
Yeah, sharp increase from what to, okay?
From 44 to
Yeah. Then put the value. And then here, for the next how many minutes?
10.
10 minutes, it remains constantly high.
Constant.
Okay, constantly high. Okay, now after that, at the end of the race, there's a sharp drop or sharp decrease, right? Okay, and then after how many minutes after that? It's about 2 minutes, even 2 minutes after, the pulse rate is still higher than before the race, right? It's still slightly higher than before the race. Okay, get it? Higher than before the race. Okay, get it? Understand? So you should be good at describing graph. Describing graph is 3 marks for you, provided you know how. So 3 pattern, 1, 2, 3. Put the value and the marks. Okay. Now here, explain the change in the pulse rate between 2 minutes and 3 minutes after the recording started. Okay, between 2 minutes and 3 minutes. Between 2 and 3 minutes. What do you notice here?
Sharp increase.
It's a sharp increase. Okay, now you are required to explain the sharp increase. Explain the change in pulse rate between 2 and 3 minutes. Okay, 4 marks, start now. Don't take too long. Okay, now Amira and Balkis, look. Here, the question is about what? The question is about a group of students use a heart monitor to record the pulse rate of an athlete. So when you talk about athletes, what do athletes do? They run a race, right? They run the race. So now, running race requires what? Requires what?
Energy.
Now, next question you have to ask yourself, where do you get the energy from?
Also respiration.
Anaerobic respiration.
Anaerobic respiration.
By means of aerobic as well as anaerobic respiration. Now ask yourself again. Okay, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration requires what?
Oxygen.
Oxygen and what?
Oxygen
Glucose.
and
Glucose. It produces what?
Carbon dioxide.
carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, right. Anaerobic respiration produces what?
The acid plus carbon dioxide.
Lactic acid. Okay, now. Is it acid plus carbon dioxide or lactic acid only? Siapa kata carbon dioxide tadi? Only lactic acid, careful. So now, where do they get this? Where does the muscle get this glucose and oxygen?
Respiration.
No. This glucose is oxygen for cell respiration. Where do they get this oxygen and glucose from? What carries it?
Blood.
Hybrid.
Blood, right. So you talk about blood, right. So blood carries what? What does blood do?
Oxygen.
Blood carries oxygen
Oxygen.
and glucose to the
Blood
cell.
Like carries oxygen
and glucose to the muscle for cell respiration. Now, blood carries away what?
Carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide and lactic acid.
Lactic acid.
Pump the blood. What pump the blood?
The blood, the heart.
The heart. Pump that. You see? So that's why Balkis and Amira, I know you are so afraid of jawab soalan panjang-panjang macam ni. After a few classes, I noticed it already. But you have to push yourself because you know this, that you don't know how to put two to two together. And you have to try now because you still have time. Okay?
Oh, wait, teacher.
So how do you say this? During
During
race.
what? Marathon, or it says what here? Running race, or dia kata apa sini? During athlete during meter race.
Racing.
Okay. Apa?
during the race.
During race.
During the race, muscle apa?
Undergoes
Yeah.
Required energy.
and
Right. Okay. Now, energy by means of what?
By means of
is
anaerobic and aerobic respiration.
aerobic and anaerobic respiration.
Anaerobic respiration. Okay, you already get 1 mark there. Next, apa? The
For
heart,
The heart.
the heart beat faster to carry more blood to the muscle. Okay. That's 1 mark already. You already get 2 marks. Now, apa? The heart beat faster to carry more blood to the muscle to do what?
to respirate
first.
fast.
To apa? I mean, to
Sorry.
carry oxygen and
To carry oxygen and glucose to the
Okay,
muscle.
carry oxygen and glucose for aerobic respiration.
Expression.
For aerobic respiration, and then what happened?
To carry
Away
carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide.
aerobic respiration and lactic acid that is produced during anaerobic respiration. That is 4 marks.
Wow.
Tulis balik sekarang juga. Okay. Like I said, you don't have the habit of when you write and then you copy back and you feel good about it. Never feel good about that. You have to, in O-Level, you have to articulate it using your own words. It's hard first before it's easy. Sarah, correct or not?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
It's still hard.
It still is hard. Sarah has been doing it for long. Okay, Mike has been doing it for long. They are good at it now. But before they are good, they will
not good yet.
They will not do that. Now I ask them to answer this, they can simply say it. But you need to start somewhere, Amira and Balkis. You cannot just start with what. Okay, and the putting of things together like energy, aerobic, anaerobic, all this you have to keep asking yourself. Okay, running race, what happened? You need energy. Where do you get energy from? Aerobic and anaerobic, right? So now what else? It requires both. We require glucose, so the blood will carry the glucose. Now it also requires oxygen for aerobic respiration. And then it produces what? Carbon dioxide. So blood will carry what to the muscle? Blood will carry what away from the muscle? And what pump the blood? The heart. You get that? Pump that, Balkis. Balkis, do you understand?
Boleh.
You think you can put it in your
Yes, teacher.
okay?
Yes.
Yes, put it in your own words. So during race, so the heart beat faster, or the pulse rate increases because the heart beat faster to deliver more blood to the muscle. Okay, now the muscle requires energy. In cell respiration, the muscle will respire aerobic and anaerobically. Blood will carry more oxygen and glucose to the muscle and carry away carbon dioxide and lactic acid. That's it, 4 marks. Okay, write it now. I give you 1 minute, rewrite it again in your own words, not my words. Never ever ever copy your teacher's word or school or textbook work or marking scheme for your words. You will do you do a big mistake there. Okay, next one. Yeah. Okay. Now, it says here all mammals have double circulatory system. Figure 1.1 shows part of the human double circulatory system. You have the right lung, you have the left lungs, then you have your what is P there?
B.
What is P here? What is P here? And you have your D, all this. Okay. Now try this. Okay, 1 minute only because it's only 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. Okay, done? Okay.
Done.
Okay, what is P actually? You know what is P?
Is it
E.
P is aorta. Good. What is O?
Oh, that is confusing.
What is O?
O?
Oh, that is capillary.
Capillaries.
Capillaries in the alveoli.
Alveoli.
Yes.
What
Alveolus.
is J? Balkis?
Yes.
What is J?
J. Capricorn.
Amira, what is J?
J, P,
V.
capillary.
Now what is J?
Pulmonary artery. Pulmonary artery.
Artery.
Yes, pulmonary artery. Amira, look. J comes from D. D is your left ventricle. From left ventricle, it goes artery. Okay. Now it will be oxygenated in the lungs and then it goes back through K. What is K, Amira?
Okay.
What is K?
Pulmonary vein.
Yes, good. It's pulmonary vein. Right. K is pulmonary vein. J is pulmonary artery. Because here, blood from vena cava. So N is vena cava. Look here, Mira. N is vena cava. It goes into A. A is your right atrium. It goes to your D, which is your right ventricle. Comes out for J, which is pulmonary artery.
Vein.
And will be oxygenated at the lungs. It comes back through your K, which is pulmonary artery, into your right atrium, the
Pulmonary vein.
left atrium, and then left ventricle.
Left ventricle.
Come out through the aorta, which is P. Okay. Now this is a kidney. So now from the aorta, you notice from the aorta it comes through L. So what is L? What is L? Renal.
From there. Renal artery.
Renal artery.
What is M?
The
Renal vein.
vein.
Renal vein.
In the muscular wall that separate the left and right side of the human heart,
Septum.
Septum.
by the term double circulation.
Blood
Pass.
passes through the heart twice for every complete circulation.
Okay, what is the advantage? One advantage of double circulation?
It supplies more energy.
No. Blood.
And
Withstand high blood.
can withstand high blood pressure.
No.
Oh, it separates.
It has high pressure, so blood can be
Okay.
blood can circulate fast
Faster.
cater for the high demand of cell respiration. Right.
So that's good.
Blood can be
Blood can be circulated fast.
circulated fast
Faster.
at high pressure.
High pressure.
Kenapa? To cater for high demand
Demand.
cell respiration. Because cell respiration requires what?
Requires oxygen.
Oxygen and
Glucose.
glucose. What carries oxygen and glucose?
The blood.
Blood
Blood. And then it produces carbon dioxide. What carries away carbon dioxide?
carries away.
Now, describe some of the structure of the human circulatory system shown in figure 1.1. Complete the table. One row has been done for you. Heart chamber with the thickest muscular wall. So what's the name of the structure?
Left ventricle.
Left ventricle. Blood vessel that carry oxygenated blood to the heart.
To the heart. Pulmonary vein.
Pulmonary vein. Blood vessel that carry oxygenated blood away from the heart.
Aorta.
Aorta.
Carry blood away from the kidney.
Renal vein.
Renal vein.
Okay. Now describe how blood is transported from vena cava to the lungs. You may use the letter in your description.
I don't feel like I've done this before.
If you don't use the letter also, it's okay, so long as you know what and what and what. Okay, go, 4 marks. Cover to the lungs. And this kind of question is, you just have to know the structure and the process. Okay, done?
Yes.
Okay, 4 marks.
Yes.
Please read.
Yes.
Read the answer. Marcus?
Okay. The oxygenated blood from the body pass through vena cava. Blood flow from right atrium to right ventricle as opening the tricuspid valve, and blood flows into the heart, out to the lungs.
Blood flows into the heart.
Out to the lungs.
Into the heart. When does it flow? Okay. Now, careful with your
Through the opening of the tricuspid valve.
Okay, you start off with what just now? You have deoxygenated blood
from the body.
It goes to the vena cava.
Vena cava.
Vena cava.
You talk about into the right atrium. You missed this.
Right
Yeah,
atrium.
the atrium to the right ventricle.
Right atrium.
No.
Okay. Now from the right atrium it goes into
It flows into the
Right
right
ventricle.
ventricle.
Opening the tricuspid.
the right atrium. As pressure builds up,
As pressure builds up, blood flows through,
builds
pressure.
Pressure.
pushes open apa?
Opening the
Pushes open
tricuspid.
the
Tricuspid.
Pushes open
push
the tricuspid
tricuspid valve.
Tricuspid valve.
valve. Lepas tu apa? Blood flows into
Blood flows into right ventricle.
Right ventricle.
ventricle. Okay, now what happened?
The tricuspid valve closes to prevent blood flow.
Careful, what happened?
Contracts.
Ventricular contraction.
Contracts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, opening apa? Ventricle
Open.
contract.
Opening
Opening the seminal valve.
Okay, and then blood flows through.
blood flows through
Blood flows
pulmonary
through
artery.
the pulmonary artery. Yeah.
Then blood goes into pulmonary
Artery
artery.
to the lungs.
Yeah.
Right.
To the lungs.
To the lung. Get it? So 4 marks. So you have to articulate every step of it. Deoxygenated blood goes into, carried by the vena cava, fills up the right atrium. As the right atrium is filled with blood, this build pressure pushes open the tricuspid, hence blood flow into the right ventricle. Semilunar open and blood flow into pulmonary artery into the lungs. Get it? Okay? So you have to be able to articulate it well. And this one is nothing to understand. It's just a process that you have to do.